All right, everybody. In this little lesson, we are going to take that computer file that we did descriptive statistics on, that data example 3.1 Connecticut house prices, and we're going to do it in Python and see how we can do that. So we're going to be using ChatGPT to do that. And the first thing I want to do is here in my download folders, I have this file and it's named data example 3.1, and see it's the X, so it means it's going to open with Excel, but this is not an Excel file because that little A there, that is what a CSV file looks like. In fact, if you go down here to this one right here with the X, this is also a file that opened Excel, but it shows the little cells on it, so that is going to be an Excel file. Now, the CSV file, since I am going to be doing code and everything's got to be exact right, I'm going to change the name here to make it a little bit easier to deal with. So I'm on a Windows machine. I'm going to click to activate it. I'm going to click it one more time. Now, not double clicking. One click to activate, let it set a second. Another click to bring up the rename. I'm going to make this a little bit easier for my code, and I'm just going to call this house prices. And I didn't type in .csv or anything because it knows it's a CSV file. That's all hidden by default. And then if I go and open this up just to kind of remind myself what's going on in there, we've got our columns here. Now, when I prompt the AI to write the code, the only column I'm going to tell it is we have a column called sale amount. And in fact, I'm going to copy that. So right click copy. Because I'm not going to worry about the other ones right now. All right, so I'm going to close this down. I'm not going to save it. I'm going to move this out of the way. And so we're going to go right to the AI. So we got to remember, what do we do when we talk to the AI to have it give us the best thing possible? We give it good, what's the purpose of the code? In our case, we want the descriptive statistics. We need to give it detailed inputs and outputs, so I'm going to tell it about the file, where the file is, and what information I'm looking for. And then the output, I'm going to tell it, hey, the style I want you to write it in is a Python code, and I want you to give me X, Y, and Z. So let's start out with that. So we'll sit here and tell it, you have a CSV file titled house prices. It is in my downloads folder. I am using a PC, now we'll just say a Windows machine, Windows PC, and my user name is, actually, one second, I don't know what my username on my computer at home is. So let me just go and look for that really quickly. Let's see. And here, and I'll show you what I'm doing. So I'm going through here. I'm going to this PC. C drive is my local drive. I'm going to go to users. My username here is drrob, so we're going to go drrob. All right, so that's part of that's pretty much the inputs that I'm going to give it. I am going to have to tell it the column name, so let's do that now. In the file, one of the columns of data is titled sale amount. Now, I usually use the quotes around there just to, you don't need to, but just to say, hey, this is one whole nugget. Okay, so we're going to tell it to write a Python code that will display the descriptive statistics. Okay, and that's where we're going to start with. We'll see what we get. So I have my inputs in there. I have my outputs. I have the style, which is the Python code. Let's run that and let's see if it actually works. Okay, it's telling me we've got to bring in the pandas library. We're going to import the pandas. It's going to do things. We can see up here it puts in the path. That's what I'm looking for. And this line of code right here is a pandas code that gives me describe. So let's see if that works. I'm going to hit copy code. I already have Spider open. I'm going to bring Spider in. Control V to paste the code. It's pretty simple. I'm going to hit the run, and there we go. So you can see right over here in the window, it gave us descriptive statistics. Count, which is the number of things that we have, our mean, our standard deviation, and here's our 5-number summary. Minimum, first quartile, second quartile, third quartile, maximum. Now you may be wondering, what's this down here? This is just telling you what kind of data is. D-type means data type. Float 64 means it's numeric data. Float means that it's a decimal. If it would have said int 64, it would have been an integer. So there's decimal values in this. So that is pretty good. Let's add a couple of other things to it, because we range, IQR, variance are stuff that we want. So let's go back and add that. Also calculate the variance, range, and IQR. Oh, this is interesting. So I guess there's a new version of ChatGPT, so it's giving me 2 different things here. So we got 2 responses at the same time. That's fine. We'll try one, and if it doesn't work, we'll try the other. But it looks like we can look down here. So variance, it's actually calculating out some kind of function with that. So just so you know, sale amount is the variable that it made here. .var means that it's running a equation on that. So .var, this would be coming out of the pandas thing. You don't have to memorize that, but we can look down here and it's like, oh, making another variable value range, maximum sale amount minus minimum, great. And then it's calculating out our quartiles here to do IQR. So this looks like it should run just fine. Copy code. Let's bring Spider back up. I'm going to make a new file. I'm going to Control V. Let's run this and see what happens. All right, so we've got all this stuff in here. Now, once again, that max, that's at 5 billion. This is a little bit difficult to read, so let's go back to the AI and let's clean up everything and tell it to format all numbers as dollar values. And so once again, we are just going and saying, okay, well, this is pretty good. Well, why don't you do this? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do this? And we do it in small chunks to make sure that things hopefully don't break. So we're going to copy that. I'm going to go back here. Once again, I'll make a new file, Control V, and we'll run that now. And there we go. Everything's done as dollar values. Probably want to get rid of the decimal points. We can do that. But I want to try something here. The 5 million, we know that that's an outlier because we looked at the data. I've never tried this, so let's go and ask the AI if it can remove the $5 billion data point. So we're going to remove the 1, 2, and we can use commas here. I don't know what's going on. 1, 2, 3 data point from the set. It is an outlier. Okay, so now it's telling us, hey, I'm going to modify the script to take this out. And it's generating everything out. Once again, these little hashtags, that means that it's a comment line, so the computer's ignoring that. That's for us. So copy code, and once again, I keep making new ones because I want to keep the ones that work. And now let's run that again. All right, so this matches our Excel data. This is great. Everything's wonderful. And let's go and add. Let's go and add. Let's tell it to remove the decimal places. And once again, we're just going through and adding a little bit of code here and here. Basically, we can just keep playing around with it, and hopefully it doesn't end up breaking. We could also tell this to save the output as a PDF or something. We'll do that with our last step. So let's copy the code. Let's Control V to put that in. Let's run that one more time. And there we go. It removed all the decimal points. So the last thing, let us have it save the code as a PDF to turn in for engagement. So we'll go save the result as a PDF. And so it's going. All right, we're about to find out. I don't know if this will work for us because I don't know if we have that installed in Anaconda. But if it doesn't work, it's fine. We'll give it a try. We can see it's doing a lot of different stuff now. These are making cells in our PDF with all of the answers that it's generating. And, all right, so let's give that a try. So copy code. I'm going to go back to my thing. I'll make one final new file. Oops. Did I forget to copy I copied the wrong one. So copy the Python script. We'll come in here, Control V. We will run that. All right, so we're getting an error here, so don't worry about that. I'm running the same thing installed in the lab. This module is not installed. All right. So we ran it, we hit an error, we don't need to worry about this one here. So what I want to do is, I'm just getting rid of that. We're going to go back to this last one. I have it untitled 4, I haven't been naming this as we go along. This is what we're going to submit for engagement. So how do I find that file? Well, those little stars mean it needs to be saved. So we're going to go File, and under File we're going to go Save. It's just this one we're doing here. And by default, it's going to drop it here in my users directory. So put it wherever you want. Since you got to upload it, I would recommend maybe the desktop or the downloads. So I'll just put mine on my desktop. We will call it code. No, we should call it something. We'll call it house prices. We want it to save file types. We are going to save it as a Python file, so it'll get the little extension. I'm going to hit save. Now, I just noticed that I said I was going to save it to my desktop, and I didn't because I never changed the directory. It's actually in my users folder. So let's go and take a look at that really quick for engagement. So here's my file directory again. We're going to C drive. We'll go into users and drrob. And so here we are. We have house prices, and you can see here it's listed as a py file. That little icon means a text file, so if I go to open this on my computer, it opens as a text file editor. So please take this file right here, upload this for one of your engagement pieces today, and we will look at this again now using Tableau in the next video. Goodbye.